certain kind of conditioning to eating dysfunctional. I'm going to show you some of the ways in which we're seduced into that state continuously by the media, as we call it, by commercials, by television, Buckeye TV, BET as you call it. I'll just go into some of those ways in which we're seduced into the state in which we're in which we're killing ourselves. Historically, we have been trained to eat a starch and fat-centered diet. And that started during colonialism and slavery, where they put our brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa on starches. They imported corn into Africa, and they called it maize over there, and cassava. And they put the breadfruit in the Barbados and places like that to put us all on this starch-centered diet and fat-centered diet. Because the philosophy of colonialism and slavery was that grease is what got the most production out of the slaves, so they put grease in everything, grease in the greens, you call it ham, whatever, pork, whatever you put in the greens to make it oily. So you fried all your food to make it oily. The objective is to keep you on oil, because the slave masters, as they call themselves, which they should be called criminals, because that's what they are, those criminals got us into eating fat back, as you call it. And they knew we had what we call lactose intolerance, so the only milk that we could drink was called glabber, or what some people call buttermilk. We can drink it once it's fermented and sour, because then you don't need the lactose to break it down. So they learned all of these tricks during slavery, and they put us on this grease and fats and that kind of diet. And we romantically know that there's nothing on a pig called bacon, so you got to figure out where this piece of meat comes from bacon, and sure enough, you're eating the pig's ass in the morning. But if you want to eat 4 slices of a pig's ass, then fine, whatever. And then with the starch-centered diet, it causes what we call kwashiorkor, protein malnutrition, B vitamin deficiency. It decreases your ability to stabilize your calcium, magnesium, stabilize your nervous system, causes a lot of reproductive problems, prolapse uterus, fibroid tumors, prostate problems. The starch alone, even if it's organic, a starch-centered diet is devastating. But they put us on a starch-centered diet and fat-centered diet, and we kind of call it today a soul food diet, And those little slaves in Puerto Rico, who call themselves Puerto Ricans, whatever that means, they were put on a starch-centered diet, those Africans, and they fed us in troughs, as you know, like you feed horses, and the corn would drop in a trough, and they pull that little skin of corn out and wrap some food in and call it tortillas. It's nothing but a slave kind of thing. And they're proud of that little slave stuff. So we romanticize about the diet that we're on, and we forget that we were put on this diet temporarily, because they thought that we would die in 7 years from slavery. They were totally surprised that you Negroes, that you African Americans last that long.